welcome to Future Orchard. Every year we do this free workshop and we love if people can come, and not only are they learning to do what needs to be done, they're doing ours, which helps us to have a good crop of apples for the autumn. I'd like to introduce you to Chris Troy, and Chris is our horticultural expert, and he is going to lead you through the process.
So you're very welcome anyway, and today what we're going to do is something that we have to do every year. We have to thin our apples. I know it sounds a bit sinful to be taking actual apples off the tree after all the effort that we go to actually grow them. But if we don't, then the tree can get very tired if it has a big crop of apples. As you can see from this tree, there's an awful lot of apples on it, and this one is called Martin Seedling, which is one of our many heritage varieties that we have up here. Now this is on a rootstock on M9, which is a dwarf rootstock, which makes it very easy to maintain it. And you can see the height of the tree. This tree is about 5 years old now. And as you can see, I can still reach every part of the tree, so I don't need to climb a ladder or anything like that. And I can work around this very, very easily. So as you can see, there's lots of apples on this tree, and there's too many really. So we're going to thin out some of these apples, and I'm going to show you how I do it. Now, let's hope this goes right. Sometimes it actually doesn't. So if you have a clump of apples like this, where you have 3 or 4, you take out the one that hasn't been pollinated, okay? Now, obviously this hasn't been pollinated, there's no seeds developed, and normally the tree will literally drop that on the ground. It's called the June drop. So you always thin the apples after June. Now this is the end of June, so we can get away with it. As you can see, these apples have been fertilized because they're after swelling. So we've got 3 apples here, and ideally we just want to keep 2. So what we're going to do is just literally, with your fingertips, is just twist this off like this, okay? And you can discard it on the ground, or you can take it away altogether. Now, that was the easy one. Very often you get clusters of apples like this, okay? Where you get maybe 5 or 6 in there. So what we're going to try and do is take the smallest ones. That one was very easy. We're just twisting it off. So gently try and twist it off without knocking the other ones, like that again. Put that down there. Now we're going to take out the centre apple, or what we call the king apple, because that way then that would distribute the food to the rest of the apples. So we're going to push him back against himself like that, and that comes away. And then we have another apple right down at the back here. So we're going to try and twist him off as well. Now we try and do this as slowly as we can, and then we're left with 2. Okay? Ideally, that's what we should be left with, because there'll be even food then going to both apples, and we get 2 decent sized apples. If we don't, we're going to have an awful lot of small apples, and the tree will get tired. Now you can see here again, we have another cluster. So I'm just going to do the same again on this one. So I'm going to try and twist off the center one, if I can. Like that. And I take out the top one. And then we have 2, which are opposite each other, so the food should go evenly. Now, like I said, this tree is called Martin Seedling, and we have another tree just up here, which is a different type of apple. This is called Keegan's Crab. Now you can see this apple tree here, there's loads and loads of apples on it. Same rootstock, M9, as that one down there, but this really has too much, so we have to take off an awful lot of these apples. At least 30 to 40% of the apples. Now, I know, once again, it sounds sinful, but if we don't, what can happen is the tree will get really tired, and next year we will have no apples whatsoever. The tree will actually take a rest. So we're trying to keep a balance the whole time around between pruning and thinning and all that, always trying to maintain the balance. So once again, we're looking for clusters. So we're going to take out the ones that haven't been pollinated like that. And where we get 3, we take out 1. We see the king apple is the biggest one, is in the middle. So we take him out to help with the distribution. We got 2 clusters here, 1 cluster there and 1 here. So we could actually take out this cluster. Now this doesn't affect the tree, this helps the tree. It doesn't damage the tree as long as you're careful. Whatever you don't want to do is take out a whole fruit spur, because that will damage the tree. Okay, once again. And now all I'm doing is just twisting back on the apple itself, and it comes away quite cleanly. So I'm just literally twisting back. So here we go again. See, there's lots of apples on this branch. So instead of leaving 2 per cluster, maybe we might just leave 1. Okay. And once again, just thinning it out once you get the hang of this, you can actually fly around an orchard. Up here. We're taking out a lot of the smaller ones, and obviously the ones that haven't been pollinated, because it's just a waste of time. So here we have another big cluster. There we go. So that's the basics of it anyway. So it's just really a case of just taking your time and bending the apples back on top of themselves or twisting them off. If you have a disaster and the whole cluster of apples falls down, you know better than next time. We would just take our time doing it. Okay? Well, thank you very much for listening, and thank you for all the help. Another good thing about when we're thinning apples is that sometimes you can find pests and diseases in the orchard as well. If you can get a close look at this, you can see there's some apple goo, for want of a better word there. That's what my daughter's called it anyway. And what it is there's a little maggot after burrowing into an apple. There it is there. He's inside there. And what he's done, he's made his own little tunnel inside. And if we cut open the apple, you'll be able to see the damage that they do. So we do it very gently. So you can see the damage that he's done inside there after burrowing in. And there's a little offending article here. So I think I've just cut him in half by mistake, sorry about that. But I think this is the caterpillar of a tortrix moth. So what they do, they lay their eggs and they burrow into the apple, and then as the apple grows, so does the maggot, and then that makes it absolutely useless and it drops onto the ground, and then it emerges and flies away, ready to repeat the life cycle again next season. So if we find these, the best thing we can do is put them into a plastic bag and dump them somewhere. Don't put them into a compost bin or anything like that. Put them into a refuse if you can. Okay?